Okay, everybody, time for part two of the stream. This is a common occurrence. I really don't think it's going to be my software. I use an OBS software for live streaming, and I've been thinking about doing StreamYards. That seems to be a little bit better, although some people say it's not. I don't know, but the OBS is the system that for some reason it will disconnect from the YouTube. So that is the software that I'm having trouble with. That wasn't my connection, my Veep, or any of that. And it's not my Wi-Fi. It's the OBS. I've actually been able to identify it as the issue. So if anyone has another program out there that they could recommend to me, Streamlabs is the one that, guys like Snarky and Fernando use. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Okay, but we were talking about Larry King. I don't know much about Larry King other than I enjoyed his shows. Not always because of Larry King himself, but because he had... Oh, focus. Focus? That's not the best, I guess. All right. Yeah, these cameras, you never know. It's never perfect, right? There's always something going wrong. Anyone who has ever done videos or live streams knows nothing ever goes 100% right, ever. But I thought Larry King passing, what an incredible guy. I never met him, but I got to see him when I was in high school. There was a very special series of speeches given at the San Diego Convention Center. It was my senior year of high school, and I got to go watch a couple of speakers, and I got to meet one of them, and it was a moment I'll never forget. So Larry King was one of the speakers, and I remember him just being hilarious. Everyone else was super, super serious. The other two speakers that stood out were Maya Angelou and Margaret Thatcher. And Margaret Thatcher's accent was so thick, and she was talking about foreign policy and stuff. It was very, very heavy stuff. It was really tough for me to follow. I mean, I was a senior in high school at the time. Maya Angelou was incredibly brilliant, and we got to break out into these other breakout sessions with some other students from other schools, and there was like maybe 30 of us in a room with Maya Angelou, and that was an amazing experience. I never got to talk with her. I got a group photo with her, I guess. It's just me and like 30 other students and her. But Larry King was the one I really wanted because he made the whole the auditorium just crack up laughing. So that was the only time I've seen Larry King live. Of course, his TV show was awesome, but mostly because his guests. It was an hour long, and it was one of those interview shows where it wasn't all about policy. He asked personal questions, and that's what I admired about the guy. He wasn't afraid to ask questions. He interviewed some kind of like serial killer. I saw this on one of the tributes, and he just asked him, "What's it like to kill a man?" What? Great question. Yeah, I enjoy watching his interviews, and that job to be an interviewer on CNN. Who's the guy that took Pierce Morgan took over for him on CNN when he retired, and Pierce, he just wasn't the same. He just didn't have it. I've seen a couple other shows with Pierce Morgan. He's all right, but yeah, he just, no one can hold the reins like Larry King. I mean, that was Larry King's gig. Nobody could take over for him. That's my personal opinion on that. Okay, let's go back to the news and finish up with the news, and then I can go to bed. Okay. Shanghai changes rules to stop homebuyers from faking divorces. Interesting. Divorced homebuyers will no longer be considered first-time buyers for a period of 3 years if they had owned a property during their marriage. Shanghai's Housing Bureau also extended the dutiable period for a 5.3% value-added tax to 5 years resale home. So this is something that I've talked about in other videos, that China's real estate market in the tier 1 cities and the big markets heats up very, very quickly. This is one of the biggest wealth generators in China, in the world really, but definitely in China, because it's like over 70% of the family's wealth in China is held in real estate, and in the tier 1 cities, it's a game of hot potato, and it gets really, really heated. And Shanghai, so what they do is they create these rules saying, okay, if you're a married couple, you can only own so many homes. So people, what they do is they just get divorced on paper, and then they go buy a bunch of other homes, and they just get remarried. Well, they're trying to put a stop to that. So Shanghai's local authorities have introduced some of the most draconian policies in years to curb speculation in residential real estate, including rules to define property rights among estranged couples in the nation's costliest housing market. Let's talk about this some other time. I want to move on to some. That's pretty. Chinese New Year's mask. I still don't want to get married. A Singaporean brand has come up with a new face mask that not only protects you from COVID-19, but also from nosy relatives this coming Chinese New Year. If you don't know, during the Chinese New Year, when young women go back to the hometown, they're supposed to bring back with them a boyfriend or a fiance, and if they don't, they get so much crap from their family. It's from what I've been told, I've never seen it or heard it, but from what I've been told, the pressure on these young women to get married and to find a man at a very, very young age is it's big. So, and of course, young people, especially young women, are not that eager to get married. They want to start a career. They want to start businesses. They want to get married later in life. They want to control their lives. They don't want their family telling them what to do. So this is a thing now. To prepare for the holiday gatherings, Winners was for is selling mask designs to preemptively respond to varied probing questions many expect from their friends and family. Aunts and uncles no longer need to wonder about your relationship status if you wear a mask that says, Happy New Year, I do not have a boyfriend, I do not have a girlfriend. There it is. Dodge persistent questions about settling down with a mask announcing, Happy New Year, I still do not want to get married. There it is. I still do not want to have a child. There's another one. That's another one, right? If not, there are also other designs that make good conversation pieces, such as a mask that looks like it's made out of bakwa, a salty, sweet, dried meat snack popular during Chinese New Year. Interesting. Company criticized for sexist job ad asking only men to apply. I thought this was interesting. Check this out. Hengli Group, an industrial conglomerate that is one of China's largest private sector companies, has been slammed for posting a recruitment notice asking for only male candidates to apply. Posting to its official WeChat account, the company wrote that it was specifically looking for male candidates between 28 and 40 years old to fill 5 driver positions that pay 4,000 yuan or $617 and offer 4 rest days a month. Sounds like a solid job. The post was quickly met with accusations of sexism. A woman named surnamed Jia, who volunteered at Workplace Gender Discrimination Watchdog, an online community tracking workplace discrimination in China, said that she was immediately filed a complaint with the Guizhou chapter of the All China Women's Federation after discovering the ad. Jia noted that the organization, which is tasked with protecting women's interests, rarely responded to the collective's complaints in the past, but to her pleasant surprise this time, the Federation gave prompt and serious attention to the matter. In a statement on January 21st, the Federation wrote that it had demanded Hengli Group delete its preference to hire men in the job on the post grounds of gender discrimination. In the wake of the matter, we want to say that we are thankful for the support and the trust from internet users, blah, blah, blah. We will continue to fulfill our role as Chinese women's family members and help them exercise their legal rights. According to Chinese law, employers must ensure gender equality in hiring. No, that doesn't really happen very much. In 2019, China issued a notice stipulating that companies engaging in gender discrimination in recruitment ads could face fines of up to 50,000 yuan. Interesting. So obviously there is a thing, and it's funny because I have female friends who bash on not only their own driving skills, but the driving skills of other women. And I honestly don't think it's a women-men thing. It's not really a gender thing. It's a good driver, bad driver thing. Because Hell, I know so many bad male drivers out there. Women drivers, yeah, it's the same. Okay. Guangdong reports solid trade growth for 2020. We'll do that some other time. Magician marks 100 years of sawing people in half. I thought that was interesting. We'll do that some other time because I want to talk about McDonald's. This will end it with this. I don't even know if anyone's watching me anymore. Who's watching me? Somebody? Yeah, a couple of you guys. All right. So McDonald's, my buddy of mine sent me a video of McDonald's with the Rojo. They have their own version of Rojo, which is a Chinese hamburger. And the reviews that I saw about these were terrible, and they should just leave it to the experts, that McDonald's shouldn't be doing this. But now McDonald's is launching a spicy chili oil ice cream. Interesting. McDonald's China has been coming up with some rather unorthodox menu items recently, such as the Oreo and Spam Burger with a mysterious white sauce in December 2020. I did hear about the Oreo Spam Burger. They come every time I go to McDonald's, and I go there often. I like McDonald's. I go there for breakfast and the coffee, the little egg. But they're always advertising some strange new thing here. It's really impressive. Yeah, you got that right, dude. McDonald's China sells limited edition Oreo and Spam Burger for just $2. Look at that. Oreo and Spam. I can't tell if my mouth is watering or if my stomach is hurting. I don't know if that would... and they said it's got this mysterious white sauce on top. Oh, my God. Oh. So, on January 21st, another limited edition menu was announced on the Weibo page, Spicy Chili Oil Ice Cream Sundae. Found on its members-only creative menu, the item is available for McDonald's China members to redeem for free with a coupon on January 25th only. So, January 20th, that's tomorrow. Shoot, that's it's after midnight, so it's today. So, I can go and get I'm not going to do it. Jeez. Oh, however, it is unavailable in some regions, including Beijing City, as well as Hubei and Liaoning provinces. The fast food restaurant chain also said in the event that the item is no longer available in stores, customers can redeem a strawberry sundae instead. I'd rather take the strawberry sundae, I think. Gene, you're asking, is McDonald's in China actually a Chinese company? Technically, yes. All McDonald's are franchises. So you can go buy a Chinese franchise. You just have to pay. McDonald's makes their money on franchise fees. Franchise fees and real estate. Go watch the movie The Founder. And it talks about the creation of the McDonald's franchise. I mean, most McDonald's are not owned by McDonald's Corporation. McDonald's Corporation is the company that franchises the name, the products, and the services. And then you've got other very large companies that will own like 20 or 30 McDonald's in a region. And hotels do the same thing. I mean, if you go to an Embassy Suites hotel or a Springfield Suites or, any kind of Hilton or hell, even Ritz-Carlton does this. I mean, most hotels, the hotel company doesn't own the hotel. They are a management company that comes in and manages it under a brand name. Now, there are some companies that buy the brand name and then manage the property under that brand name. So it gets really convoluted, and McDonald's is KFC, all of these Yum brands, anything Yum, Pizza Hut, these are all owned by various companies. They could be Chinese, they could be foreign, who knows. But the McDonald's itself, it's a franchise. You pay a franchise fee. You have to go to Hamburger University. So if you buy into McDonald's, you have to go to Hamburger University and learn how to make a Big Mac because all the Big Macs are the same throughout the world. That's how. It's a very interesting. It's huge. It's really huge. Yeah, that movie was great. The Founder, and it's true. Ray Kroc was a businessman. He was not a hamburger man. He started a real estate company, And the whole premise behind, I mean, McDonald's doesn't operate like this really very much anymore. It still does in many places, but they buy the land and then they lease the land to the person who buys the franchise. And then the value of the land is determined on the revenue that's generated from that land. So if you have a McDonald's, you're driving a lot of revenue that land creates, and that just increases the value of the land itself. That's how McDonald's makes most of its money. I'm not 100% sure if they own um, the supply chain. I'm sure they have. It's such a huge corporation. There's so many layers, and I'm not 100% sure how the supply chain for McDonald's works. I've seen different things. I don't want to. I can speculate, but I don't know 100%. I know in China, of course, like for example, okay, so Starbucks in China is owned by random people, different people. I know people who own a couple Starbucks in America. They're not owned by Starbucks Corporation. They are a franchise. They buy the franchise and they own the Starbucks itself. And then they source it from they source their beans from approved vendors. Here in China, Starbucks is sourcing their beans mostly from Yunnan, which is the same region and some of the same conglomerates that also supply the other coffee chains, such as Halo Cafe or Luckin Coffee. So it's the same coffee. It's the exact same coffee. So it's all just sold under a different store brand. So Starbucks and Luckin, I believe they're the same coffee. The Luckin is cheaper, obviously. So it's it's all branding, and we'll see that here. There's in the car market here, they do the same thing. So the Neo is making all these headlines, but it's a car. The technology is owned by one, and the brand is owned by another, and it's a publicly traded company. But the car is actually produced by a massive car conglomerate, GAC, and GAC has a version of the Neo that they sell. It's at the same platform. It's got the same technology inside. It's just the design it's the same car though. So they do that. It's really, really fascinating marketplace here in China with cars, and I want to talk more about it. Guys, it's late. This was part 2. I'll go back and watch part 1 if you want. Gotta go to sleep, man. It's after midnight. I really need to get some rest. Lots of things coming out again. Eating in Zhongshan, Volume 6, including I've started filming Hamburger Hunt Part 2, and then we'll do the little hike that Mona and I did in Dongguan, and the tour of Star Rapid Engineering here in Zhongshan. I think that'd be interesting. Many, many other things coming down the line. A couple more filming I'm doing this week, and a lot more interviews with some of the local expat community here coming up soon on my channel. So until then, I wanted to say thank you everyone for joining me, and we'll see you next